One player takes a piss on the field. Another hooks up with his goalkeeper. These are football players' weirdest pre-game rituals. And how Thibaut Courtois gets ready for games smells up his entire house. See, coming into 2014, he was already one of La Liga's most impenetrable goalkeepers. But that year, he stepped things up to another level. And it didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out something was up. So when Courtois and Atletico Madrid were coming into a heavily anticipated matchup against Real Madrid, Courtois was invited to Sport.be to do an exclusive interview. And the reporter knew he just had to ask the burning question. What was Courtois' secret? And well, that's when Courtois told him that before games, he likes to get a little weird. He told the reporter, before a game, I always go to the bathroom, take a selfie on the toilet, then take a pic of the toilets and send them to my 4 friends in Belgium. Man, I just hope he flushes first. That's disrespectful. Now, sending pics of you taking a shit, yeah, that's a little weird, but at least his pregame ritual didn't almost kill somebody like David James's. See, during the 90s and 2000s, it didn't take long for David to become one of the greatest goalkeepers in Premier League history. But it was all thanks to how he spent his weekends preparing for games. Most people clock out, get lit, and enjoy their weekends off. But David, he's built different. This man took his career beyond seriously. And whenever he was out living his everyday life, he lived every single second as if footballs were being flung at him from every direction.
Along with his many strange visualization routines where he would imagine balls being shot at him in day-to-day life and save them, even while driving.
Hold up, you mean to tell me this dude's just driving down the street and diving out his car? That might just be the craziest I ever heard. But to be honest, even that ain't as weird as David Beckham's pregame ritual. Cause before games, he likes to get a little fruity. See, during the early 2000s, Beckham cemented himself as a top 100 player ever. But little did everybody know, he was suffering from something unusual. And if he didn't perform his pregame ritual, he'd literally forget how to play football. And back in 2006, while Beckham was playing for Real Madrid, he was invited to ITV1 for an exclusive interview. And instead of talking about the heavily anticipated World Cup in front of the world, Beckham revealed his problem. It turns out, this man can't even focus on football if he doesn't organize his refrigerator first.
Yeah, if there's like 2 bottles of water and 2 bottles of Coke and 2 bottles of Sprite, if there's an extra can, then I take it out and put it in the cupboard and hide it.
Yup. Before games, Beckham goes in his fridge, counts everything, and if there's an odd number, he loses his mind. He'll literally throw things away on purpose and re-coordinate the entire refrigerator. Then he can play football. Man, just imagine you're playing in the biggest game of your career, and your star player realizes he forgot to throw away an orange, so he just runs home. But as weird as that is, what Sergio Goycochea did, I thought only dogs do. See, back in 1990, Sergio was a substitute for Argentina's national team, and little did he know, he was about to go down in history. Cause at the time, yeah, Neri Pumpido was their goalkeeper, but in the group stages of the World Cup, he broke his leg. So it was all up to Sergio to save the day. And Sergio knew, with the spotlight on him in football's biggest stage, this was either gonna make or break his career, so he couldn't risk anything. And during the quarterfinals against Yugoslavia, the matchup came down to a penalty shootout, so it was the perfect time to whip out his ritual. Yeah, this dude literally was pissing on the field in front of the entire world. But guess what? It worked! Argentina went on to win the game, and he knew there was no way that them winning after his ritual was a coincidence. And Sergio admitted, from that moment on, I did it before every shootout. It was my lucky charm. So for the rest of his career, Sergio made sure during every game, he left a little bit of him out there. My hero. Now listen. Pissing in front of millions? I mean, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. But what Laurent Blanc did before games will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about football. See, back in 1998, Laurent and France were coming into the World Cup on their home soil. So they couldn't disappoint, because they'd literally be letting down an entire country. But for some odd reason, heading into the tournament, the team felt something in the air. It was like there was some evil spirits floating around. And France knew if they wanted to be hoisting up that World Cup trophy, they needed to figure out a ritual. Fast. And coming into their round of 16 matchup against Paraguay, as soon as Laurent walked out on that field, he locked eyes with his goalkeeper, and he knew exactly what his team needed. He saw Fabian's shiny head glistening in the sunlight, and Laurent just thought to himself, he had no choice. He walked right up to him and sealed the deal. But as soon as Laurent pulled away, he felt a feeling like never before. It was like that kiss gave him superpowers. So he was ready. During the heated matchup, both teams fought all game long, but it was Laurent who saved the day. He went on to score the first ever golden goal in World Cup history, and they defeated Paraguay 1-0. And Laurent knew he didn't win the game because of his feet, it was his lips. So from that point on, he made sure to kiss his goalkeeper's bald-ass head before every match. And France went on to win the World Cup, so the two lived happily ever after. And I know what you're thinking. It's 2021, man. That type of stuff ain't weird anymore. But Pepe Reina's pregame ritual literally doesn't make any sense. See, during the early 2000s, while Pepe was playing in Liverpool, legends like Gianluigi Buffon were calling him the greatest goalkeeper of his era. But in 2011, when Pepe dropped his self-titled autobiography, he admitted that if it weren't for his 6-hour-long pregame routine, he doesn't even know if he'd make it to the arena, let alone stop the world's best players from scoring. And in the book, he explains that to become as great as him, he had to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I'm trying to make you become a football legend, so what are you doing? Click it. But anyways, Pepe also admitted something weird. He said, 6 hours before kickoff at Anfield, I get into my car, turn the engine on, and look at the fuel gauge. Even if it's almost full, I still need gas. So I head to the same station on Queens Drive, halfway between my home in Liverpool and the stadium. But I'm only at the pump for 20 seconds. The cashier gives me a funny look, cause he doesn't know I do the same thing before every home game. Oh, it all makes sense now, man. I get it. If I overflow my gas tank, I can become a pro football player. Hey, Mom, I'm moving out the basement. I'm about to make millions. And speaking of millions of dollars, that's how much Cristiano Ronaldo's pregame ritual costs. Cause his routine isn't only the weirdest of them all. To perform his routine, he forced his team to completely redesign their stadium. See, it all started back in 2009 when Ronaldo was playing in Manchester. At the time, he was having the best years of his career and turning into a star. But he wanted to take things to another level. So in June, Ronaldo not only decided to change teams, it was time to switch up his pregame ritual. And even though Ronaldo was already on a strict diet and workout routine to stay in peak condition, he's always down to learn from the experts. So he hit up Nick Littlehales, a routine master. And that's when Nick introduced Ronaldo to the science behind muscle recovery. Nick taught him that what matters in a pro athlete's body more than anything is sleep. And Ronaldo had been taking that for granted. So when Ronaldo realized that if he just slept a little more, he'd become an even better player, he took Nick's advice to the extreme. And instead of only getting 8 hours of sleep per night, you know, like a normal person, Ronaldo decided that on game days, he'd also take 6 90-minute naps. And that's not even the craziest part. One of Ronaldo's naps has to be in the stadium he plays in. So he literally forced Real Madrid to design a nap facility in their training center. And that's where Ronaldo put in a customized sleeping pod in a secret room only he has the key to. And he can't just sleep on his back or stomach. Ronaldo was literally taught that his sleeping routine has to be in the fetal position. That's embarrassing. But hey, at least it ain't as bad as a player pooping himself in the middle of a game. Or when another player got curved on camera worse than me and my Instagram DMs. And I know you want to hear more about that. So click this video right here. These are the most embarrassing moments in football history. And listen, you won't believe what happened to Fahad Colvin. Like, it's that bad. So bro, what are you still doing here? Click it.